Welcome to the Morning Update. I'm Abby Smith. The federal government will establish a Commonwealth Defence vocational skills and training taskforce in an effort to ensure we have the skilled people needed for the AUKUS submarine program. Minister for Skills and Training, Brendan O'Connor, says it's vital we start thinking about the sort of skills we need now, even though the construction of the nuclear submarines in Adelaide could be at least 15 years away.
Because we're talking about thousands and thousands of jobs that will occur, direct jobs that will be created as a result of this decision, and we need to make sure we identify those areas of skills that are in demand and those that are emerging so that we can supply the investment in the right areas.
The leaders of India, Japan and the United States will visit Australia next week for the Quad meeting. American President Joe Biden will also address federal parliament ahead of the security talks. He'll be the first US leader to do so since Barack Obama in 2011. Overseas, firefighters have yet to complete the search of a Wellington hostel where 6 people died in a fire yesterday. As many as 20 people remain missing while the cause of the blaze is under investigation. Australia is set to see a super El Nino year as the 3 consecutive La Nina events wrap up. Early warning network meteorologists say the weather pattern will likely develop in winter, bringing drier than normal conditions in summer and an increased risk of bushfires. Vodafone has announced plans to cut its global workforce by 11,000 over the next 3 years. The telco's new boss says the company's performance had not been good enough and changes need to be made. The job cuts are the biggest in the history of Vodafone. And Jetstar is boosting staff numbers and streamlining services so there's fewer delays on their services. The low-cost airline says travellers will be able to use a new check-in process from next week, with passengers to be rewarded for being punctual with cheaper flight deals. Entertainment and sport next. The tumultuous tenure of Anthony Griffin at the Dragons is over. Griffin was called to a meeting with club power brokers who sacked him effective immediately and delivered a blunt assessment of his 3 years in charge. Aussie spinner Nathan Lyon has dismissed talk he's entering the twilight of his career, the 35-year-old being put through his paces at a team camp in Brisbane ahead of the Ashes. And with 482 test wickets under his belt, Lyon says his game is still evolving.
I still feel like I can get better, and I know coming up here working with John Davison and Dan Vittoria, so I feel like I'm still learning about the art of off-break bowling. I still feel like I've got a lot to offer, so yeah, there's no end in sight for me.
In football, Melbourne is deciding between Ben Brown or Tom McDonald to replace Harrison Petty for Friday night's top 4 clash with Port Adelaide. Christian Petrarca is a test for the match. Nick Kyrgios has officially withdrawn from the French Open because of injury. The Aussie underwent knee surgery in January after being forced to pull out of the Oz Open. It's not clear whether he'll be fit for Wimbledon. Meanwhile, Alexei Popyrin has gone down in the round of 16 at the Italian Open, losing to 7th-seeded Holger Rune in 3 sets. The Dane now to play Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinals. And in cricket, England has been dealt a blow ahead of the upcoming Ashes series. Paceman Jofra Archer has been ruled out, injuring his elbow while playing in the Indian Premier League. To entertainment news, Priscilla Presley and granddaughter Riley have reportedly reached a settlement in the battle over Lisa Marie's will. Priscilla had contested the validity and authenticity of the will, but the matter has been sorted in an LA court. Production on the movie set of Rust has officially wrapped up, with Alec Baldwin celebrating by shaving off his beard. The low-budget Western movie was in limbo for months after the shooting death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. And Britney Spears' sons may be heading off to live with their dad and stepmum in Hawaii. The singer's ex and dad of Jaden and Sean has had a letter sent to Britney asking if she'd be opposed to the idea, as the boys look to distance themselves from the troubled star. And that's the latest from the Nova podcast team. We'll see you this afternoon for another episode of The Update.